Today we are going to start a new topic that is ordering information. So what is meant by ordering information? It's basically organizing your sentences or the information that you have got in the pre-writing stage for drafting. Every good piece of writing contains sentences that are ordered in a logical manner. And ordering information can be achieved by different ways. So here I have written some different ways: time or sequence of events, and technically we call it chronology for a narrative, stages of a process from the most general point to the most specific, or vice versa, order of importance, and from most important to least important point, advantages and disadvantages, compare and contrast, problem solution pattern. First, chronology for a narrative. Chronology is the arrangement of events by time. Arranging events in the order in which they occurred in time, it's called putting them in chronological order. Sticking with a chronological timeline is the easiest way for audience to follow what happens and is generally the best way to show cause and effect. Non-fiction passages that are organized chronologically often contain dates, and it's easy to follow that chronology, whereas fiction passages or narratives are more subtle and organized chronologically but usually have no dates. Here you find an example of chronology, that is a schedule for a day written by someone. So it starts from 8:30 a.m. moving on to 8:45, 9:15, having breakfast, things like this, going to office, having dinner, and it ends at 12 p.m. So you can see that all the events in the day schedule are arranged by time sequence. Coming towards the types of chronology, we have three types of chronology, that is linear narrative, and we also call it normal chronology, reverse chronology, and non-linear narrative. Linear narrative is telling of a story as a sequence of events as they happened in time. Usually, you find linear narrative in children's stories where it starts with from the very beginning of the events, and then it reaches to the climax and then what is reverse chronology? It is telling of a story from the end to the beginning, sharing events in the reverse order from which they occurred in time. A very good example of reverse chronology is CV writing, where you write your experience first and then you go back to your academic qualifications in the reverse order, starting from the current or the latest one and going towards uh, the first one. Then we have non-linear narrative. The non-linear narrative is telling of a story as a series of separate events told out of chronological order. And this is usually found in novels or dramas or adult fiction. And then we are moving towards stages of a process. It's a special kind of chronological order that is used to explain how to do or make something and also to explain the steps in a process. When using chronological order, arrange the events in the order that they will happen if you are giving instructions. This method requires you to use words such as first, second, then, next, after that, later, finally, and eventually. These transition words guide you and your reader through the paper as you expand your thesis. So normally we find stages of a process while we are presenting a recipe or while we are giving tutorials about how to repair a certain machine or how to drive a car, something like that. The next point is arrangement of our sentences in the order of general to specific. In composition, general to specific order is a method of developing a paragraph, essay, or speech by moving from a broad observation about a topic to specific details in support of that topic. This strategy is effective in cause and effect, comparison and contrast, classification and argumentation essays. So you start writing from the most general point related to that topic and you reach to the most specific example and elaborate your thesis. So how to move from general to specific? The topic sentence should identify a general statement about the subject, and the writer should choose details that make specific points about the general statement. The writer should make sure the reader can understand and relate to the specific example. Many opening paragraphs for college papers, like you are also doing, start with a general statement of the main idea in a topic sentence, and then the later sentences contain specific example that support that general statement mentioned in the first sentence. The third arrangement is called from the most important to the least important point, and we also name it order of importance. Uh, It is used for following purposes: persuading and convincing, ranking items by their importance, benefit, or significance, and illustrating a situation, problem, or solution. When writing a persuasive essay, it's best to begin with the most important point. The most important point immediately captivates your readers and compels them to continue reading. Some key transitional words you should use with this method of organization are: most importantly, just as importantly, finally, more important, most difficult, and so on. And here you can see the structure that you start from the most important information, then just coming towards important, less important, optional, or least important information. But still we have a variation of this method that is from most important to least important, that is called psychological order. What is psychological order? That is the pattern or organization grows from our learning. The readers or listeners usually give most attention to what comes at the beginning and at the end, and least attention to what is in the middle. In this pattern, then you decide what is most important and put it in the beginning or the end. Next, you choose what is second most important and put it at, in the beginning or the end, and the other information comes in between. If the order of importance followed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with 5 being most important, psychological order might be like 4, 3, 1, 2, 5, or 5, 3, 1, 2, 4. It can be anything like this. Advantages and disadvantages is another method by which you can order or arrange your information for writing. In advantages and disadvantages essay writings, it's asked to discuss the positive and negative sides of the given topic, providing your opinion. It can also be asked to discuss a problem or issue. You could also be asked to provide solutions, evaluate a problem, compare and contrast different ideas, or challenge an idea. So in this type of writing, first the introduction of the topic is given, then the writer can talk about advantages by giving examples, and after that the writer can discuss the disadvantages to support the points, and the last comes conclusion in which you can give your own opinion or solution. What is the structure of advantages and disadvantages writings compositions? First of all, you have introduction, that is paraphrase the question or introduce the specific advantages, disadvantages that will be discussed in the body of paragraphs. Then you move on to the main body of paragraph 1 or 2 as well. So introduce the advantage topic sentence, then give details, and then give examples. So coming afterwards, you move on to the disadvantages section and do the same things. And then finally, you reach to the conclusion, summarize the main points, and then give your own opinion related to that. The next fifth method is compare and contrast method for arranging sentences or arranging information. That is, comparison in writing discusses elements that are similar, while contrast in writing discusses elements that are different. A compare and contrast essay analyzes two subjects by comparing them or contrasting them or both. Compare and contrast explains how two or more objects or events are similar or different. In preparation for writing a compare and contrast essay, it's often useful to create graphic organizers such as Venn diagrams, compare and contrast lists, and data matrices to compare features across different categories. And now I'm going to show you the different graphic organizers here. So this is a compare and contrast matrix. Here we have a compare and contrast list. And then finally, we have a compare and contrast Venn diagram. So you have first item here, the second one here with differences, and the alike items, you are going to write it in between. The next is problem solution pattern, and problem and solution describes a problem and proposes a solution. It often debates the relative merits of multiple solutions before arguing in favor of the best solution. So here is an example. There has been a recent increase in bullying at the middle school. That's a problem. Then several policies have been proposed to punish offenders. That is, you are going to talk about, discuss the whole problem and debate the whole problem. The middle school should implement X solution for Y reasons. This is giving the solution. So first you state the problem, then you discuss about that problem, and then in the end you are going to provide solutions. Here you can see that there is a problem. Okay, now you have got a problem, so you are going to think about solutions as well. An author states a problem and solution similar to cause and effect. That's all. I hope it's clear.